Good evening, brothers, sisters, and gender-normer sisters. It's time once again for some more Pirates of the Geek Vortex. With me, your host, Ollamh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you might be able to tell, I'm not exactly feeling, shall we say, camera ready. I just realized that my picture is, like, way off here. It's like, wow, that is... I completely forgot to adjust this. So, yeah, there we go. That'll work, at least for now. So yes, oh, my camera's still showing through though. I meant to turn that off, but apparently my brain is still like scattered all over the place. So, there we go. Yeah, that'll work for now. Okay, so yeah, we are back with another Pirates of the Geek Vortex, and let's go ahead and jump on into the voice chat here, and I will let Ras and them explain what we're doing tonight.
Opposite day.
Hello, everybody.
Wow, it's opposite day.
Opposite day?
Yeah, we're all visible and on cam, and you're over there with your placeholder fixture.
Yeah, well.
Hmm.
All
And
right.
I see what looks like your Fallout avatar,
Yep.
but we have videos for you tonight. For
Oh,
tonight's topic.
okay. That should be interesting.
Yeah, how are you going to show those?
I'm
Technology.
sure we'll figure something out.
Okay.
Worst comes to worst,
And
you chat them directly to Ollamh, or I can zip them in a file and send them directly to Ollamh.
Okay,
So we have methods.
okay.
We have
You
meth.
know, the biggest thing is just I hope everybody can hear, that they can hear the EVP sound.
That might be a bit trickier.
Nobody ever hears the same thing in an EVP.
Yeah,
But
true.
excellent. It's an excellent reason to tell the audience you'll want headphones for this.
Ringo, dude.
Unlike most nights where we say don't wear headphones because we are loud motherfuckers.
Yeah. Speaking of which, were we figuring out the sound, or was that last time? A month ago.
I think the sound is just fine tonight.
Okay.
I just need to get everybody's get everybody's cameras set up here.
Okay.
So how has everybody been?
I've been.
I was explaining to Ras that I'm pretty sure I fucked up a good thing, but I'm decent.
I finally got to go to the gym today, or made time for it, after now that I'm off my damned roof.
It's the roof. The roof is on. What was it?
We don't need no insurance, so let's keep it from burning.
Yes. Okay.
Question is, were you a cat or were you fiddling?
Just fiddling.
If I had some 3 tabs.
Actually, oddly enough, I could totally see him doing fiddler.
Oh gods, I need a beard.
Okay, there
Not
we
if
go.
you're the fiddler. You never saw the fiddler. He was always a silhouette.
Stop it.
Yeah, I finally figured out that trying to do it for me. Trying to have any kind of a schedule does not work well.
No, that's kind of my thing too. Scheduling is bad.
Me, I've got a 9 to 5. I raid and WoW twice a week. I have D&D once a week. I'm here now with you all. And tomorrow night I'm on radio.
And on Sunday, Caesar's back in town.
I feel like I've missed a complete reference.
That's because you don't listen to Zappa.
I mean, I referenced Castlevania the other day, and someone told me, I don't know what that is, and I felt old.
That's okay, depending on which Castlevania, I might not figure out what it was.
80s, 90s.
I hate to be the one to break it to you, Ras, but we are old.
I mean, sure, if you use...
I mean, all of us are old, so...
If you use things like numbers...
No, I'm pretty sure physically and emotionally we're all ancient, too.
Emotionally, physically, yes.
I used numbers at the gym today.
Did they reach the double digits?
In pounds? No. In time? Probably. In lunchtime? No idea. I don't take lunch breaks at the gym.
I feel like I should just mute my mic, otherwise I'm going to be snarky all night.
That's part of our appeal.
Yeah.
Lay down.
But normally I have boundaries, and I don't snark everything you're going to say.
I was gonna say it's
What
like
are boundaries?
yeah, that's a good question too. What are boundaries?
I mean, you're used to it. You've seen me at my worst. You've been there on nights where I don't like the person. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. Everything you say is going to be made fun of.
I mean, if you mute your mic to try and avoid snarkiness, I mean, you're just going to be listening to us.
No.
True. I mean, I can still chime in, just... Okay, fine, I'll just bite my tongue.
Yes, and now people can see the blood pouring down your lips because
I'm pretty sure my first aid kit is somewhere around me. Yeah, we started this cam thing, and we kind of just rolled with it. I didn't think we'd actually like it this much.
realize something. I need to.
Who? Oh, pound sand.
I should note, I just checked the channel and none of our cameras are on over there.
Really? They were when I looked.
Yeah, they're showing on the.
Yeah, they're on.
Yeah.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're lagging like hell, but they're on.
I will refresh again.
Well, it's one of those things where you have to remember you're sending it to me, and then I'm sending it to YouTube, and then YouTube's sending it to you. So
it's just the latency. That's all.
Yeah. That's just part of the deal.
Okay, it was more behind than I thought it was. That makes more sense.
Oh, it wasn't showing you the live feed, the live feed.
No,
this is live 15 minutes ago.
We're streaming now?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a slight delay, but we're up there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a slight delay, basically from the aspect of what you're doing. It's going to take a while before you see it on YouTube.
Live.
And We have Shane Wilson in the chat tonight, I see.
Hey, Shane.
Hello.
I can't open the chat. Lose everything.
I'm tabbing back and forth.
Okay.
So, you guys had the topic for today.
Yes. Yes.
So, we've all had probably our own experiences, supernatural, paranormal, and then there's always quite a bit in the media. Things people either believe or not.
So when you say media, are you saying social media? Are you saying TV? Are you saying radio? What do you mean by that?
I think I'm saying something like an Unsolved Mysteries episode to an extent.
Isn't that more like they're trying to find a body from 10 years ago?
That's
Well,
cool.
that, or they can't explain this one thing happening. Like, tonight, everyone was supposed to be in one building. None of them showed up, and the building exploded.
Yeah, I remember when Unsolved Mysteries did monsters and ghoulies. It was
And
always hilarious to take Robert Stack serious when he's just like, in the woods, there was a creature. Its eyes were red as hell. And you're just like, Robert, we know you're not believing this. Can you stop trying to sell it?
He
Well,
picked the wrong-
didn't Riker host that?
No, they tried Unsolved Mysteries with another host and it didn't work. And then Jonathan Frakes came up with The Unexplained.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
now there's the what is it? The Unexplainable with Shatner. So really all we need is Patrick Stewart to pop up with Scott Bakula and Kate Mulgrew and we'll have a full captain.
No, we need Avery Brooks, too.
We don't need Cisco. No one needs Cisco.
Everyone needs Cisco. He is my favorite of them all.
I am shamelessly
See?
on Team Picard.
Here I am, not knowing what you guys are talking about.
All the Star Trek captains.
Okay, hold on here. We'll make it really easy for you. Do you prefer a Iowa-born playboy who has a reputation for fucking everything that moves, even though he really didn't, and an odd fascination for his first officer, who he is very close with, a bald Frenchman with the most French name ever, who is actually English but has a Welsh accent, we don't know why, but just random black guy out in deep space, or the I learned from the Frenchman and then was actually the only woman who could command this entire starship.
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, see?
And
You don't even have to see the series, you just know.
we have other
There we-
captains now, too.
We have what?
We have several other captains. We have the captains on Strange New Worlds, being Pike. We've got Lower Decks. We've got Discovery. Am I missing one?
Hold on.
Prodigy.
It was about to say, because we've got original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Prodigy, Picard, which doesn't count because it's just Picard again. Lower Decks. Yeah. There's way too many shows. And Gamer's not here, so we can't keep track of them.
True. But we were going with... Maybe we should go into our personal experiences with the supernatural and or paranormal first. Who wants to start?
Well, who wants to start?
Does Koo want to start?
Choose
Okay,
me,
you want to
Pikachu.
start. Yeah.
Well, where do I start? Where do I start with this?
Let the
I'll try.
spirit decide.
Talk about the EVPs before we put them on screen.
Okay. For those who don't know what an EVP is, electronic voice phenomenon, is something that you hear on your recording device. You don't hear it with your own ears. Granted, there's some that I have heard with my own ears and back to my recorder and I'm like, holy shit. But that's what an EVP is. And I have heard them for a while. And then ever since I put the Ring camera up, I have been getting so many. And I probably have about 200 videos that have some kind of EVP on them. Some are very hard to understand, but if you listen very carefully, you can hear. Then some are just bowled out, holy crap, that's a voice. So, yeah, I have a ton of EVPs. Out.
So if we do it right, we might be able to show them tonight. I'm aware this is burdening Ollamh with a bit of technical here.
Well, that's what I'm good at.
Fair.
So yeah, I sent Rasclin some of my EVPs because I know nothing about. I can like show them up to the camera, but you wouldn't hear shit. That's me.
I'm going to package them in a zip, and Ollamh, I will send them to you in an email.
Okay. Depending on the size, you might be able to just send them over Discord.
Maybe I could individually in the Pirates Crew channel, and I could certainly try that.
I mean, that would also make it easier because that way we can just go through them one by one.
All right. In that case, let me go ahead and... All right. These are sorted by date, for the most part. I've got one without a date. So why don't I start with the one that does not have a date?
Don't do that. That's a mysterious, cursed one in every horror movie.
And
Isn't that how people get killed?
Yes! Oh my god, it even looks like a horror movie.
And this is...
Yeah, you're gonna see me in the video, and I am so sorry. I'm so sorry you have to see this.
Okay, let's see here.
Have you seen any ghosties?
I personally have not, no.
I used to be very sensitive towards them.
Alright, so let's see here. So now...
Got an EVP last night where I had to sage the whole entire house. I interrupted, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh no, I'm
Wesley.
just... Yeah.
Wesley? Who counts Wesley as a captain? They should have thrown Wesley out of a torpedo tube.
Come on, we love Will Wheaton.
No, I don't.
I do. I've met Will Wheaton.
I mean, Will Wheaton might be cool. I just don't like Wesley.
You need to watch Tabletop After Dark. Now, Will Wheaton has a show called Tabletop, but you need the After Dark episodes.
Well, like I said,
That
I've
was,
seen a little bit of Will Wheaton. He's not that bad of a guy. I don't really mind him. It's specifically Wesley.
You can blame a lot of this on Rick Berman.
I blame everything on Gene.
You can blame a lot on
Well-
Gene, you can blame even more on Berman.
Yeah, by that point, Gene Roddenberry was involved with it, but not majorly. A lot of the storylines and stuff like that were done by Berman and his partner.
And we should also keep in mind that Roddenberry, I believe he was opposed to any further shows coming out or anything not on a starship. He would not have approved of Deep Space Nine, which did begin after his death.
Okay. Fine. 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 You guys start barking your good shit. Out.
But yeah.
Okay, I think I've got it all set up so that all I need to do is drop it in, and it should be good.
Okay.
All right, let's.
Sorry, I had to let the dogs out.
Okay, so let's go ahead and drop that in.
Don't grouch at me. Come on. Don't grouch at me. What are you grouching at me for?
And for some reason, it's
People can hear them.
We can't hear them at all, actually.
Yeah, you guys can't.
Oh, you hear the dogs, Ollamh?
The dogs. I thought you meant the file.
No.
If there's any question, obviously ask me.
I think you raised a little more than eyebrows there, Shane, but yeah.
I can't. What is he saying?
Well, he's not pronouncing the H to where it's real.
Let's see here. I know he's not a captain, but I knew mentioning the name would raise some eyebrows. So yeah, the files. That's I don't know if we're going to be able to really do that, because it's being a pain.
There.
For some reason, it doesn't want to show anything, and I don't know how well the audio is going to play on them.
That's a phooey.
Well, something to experiment with for another time, because we'll undoubtedly have other videos to show people. We have a video that our viewers can see of me getting my ass handed to me at an SCA event at Gen Con.
SCP event.
Yes, I fought
That's
049.
not supernatural.
No, SCP is very supernatural. SCA is very paranormal.
I used to be in the SCA.
Yeah,
That was
I've been
pretty awesome.
in and out with my own experiences. Dagger Gear and SCA are both in the area. Slightly different rules for each. If you're in Champaign-Urbana, then to everyone I would say the SCA occasionally does their things either at Hessel Park or south of the Japan House. But SCA often did feel like you were in another world. Ken, what were your experiences?
In SCA?
Yeah.
Some of the best times I've ever had. I was heavy weapons, and I was in a lot of wars, and that was a lot. That was so much fun. After the wars, and we're all standing in line for the showers, and that was a lot of fun. And then the parties afterwards, and that was a lot of fun. And yeah. So had a lot of.
Those were the
Sad
days.
that we can't do the videos and the EVPs though.
Yeah, that's one of those things. From what I've seen and heard of them, that's one of those things you almost have to have like a really, just like nothing else, just that to catch a lot of stuff.
Okay. Me telling you what they said is stupid.
I've listened to some of Nightkind's EVP videos, and some days I hear something, some days I don't. So my experience has been varied.
One I got last night shocked the shit out of me because it said "fuck you."
Well, that's just standard.
Not here. Yeah, I was so surprised by that, and I had to sage the house. 'Cause I don't
I've
want that
never
kind of
heard an EVP. Like, in the wild, naturally, I've never heard an EVP. I'm just I haven't been for a few years, but I used to be, like, very sensitive about where there were things that just didn't want to be seen. So, like, I would go to a family reunion at an old colonial house on a plantation, and I've never seen one, like, with bare eyes. I just, like, I get that picture in my head. But there was the ghost of a little girl who wanted to play hide and seek with her brother, and there was a woman up in the window who was just glaring down because why the fuck are these people on her property, especially since we're poor. But the strongest feeling on that plantation was definitely the cellar, where I could not get within 30 feet of it because there was just this big black wall of energy that was like, no, you do not come down here. You don't come near this. You don't come near me. Get the fuck away.
those kind of experiences are kind of make you not want to have that experience again.
I had them since I was a kid. They only started not happening when I was, I don't know, 24, 26, somewhere around there. Really only was like a few years ago that I suddenly realized that I hadn't felt them in a while. But like I got used to them, so they were just a part of life. It was to the point where like I could tell when people were walking behind me because I couldn't hear them and I couldn't see them. But like I would just feel that there was someone behind me and I could feel which direction they were going in. So that was fun.
I have a doozy of a ghost story. You guys want to hear it?
Sure.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
By the way, Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Not true. He was a half second ahead of you.
So, Nana, we called her Nana. It was my dad's mother. They had this huge house, huge. And so we were visiting. And in the piano room, the chair that's by the piano can look through the playroom and then through down into the parlor. It has these heavy velvet drapes. So I'm just sitting there and playing, just rocking in the chair. I don't even remember how young I was. And so we're sitting there and I'm looking down into the parlor and there's a man that he's peering through. He's peering around the curtain. Like, what the hell is that? I don't know. And I look down there again and he's looking around the curtain. So I'm like, holy shit. And I could see color. He had gray hair and he had a mustache and he was in a brown suit with a white shirt. I saw everything that this man looked like. And so my younger litter mate, we go outside and he's like, do you see this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He says, do you see the man down in the parlor? Both of us were like, holy fuck, we have to tell Nana. So we run in, we're relating the story, and Nana is like, let's go, come in here. And so we went into the playroom and there was an old, they call it a secretary. It was like a desk. And she goes in and she pulls out a picture and she says, is this what you saw? Holy fuck. And we're like, yeah, that's him. And it was her father. And we explained everything. And then my cousin huge, big, burly guy. He was a sheriff. So he's standing there, and he felt somebody touch his elbow. He freaked the fuck out, ran into the kitchen, and started pouring himself a drink. So the younger littermate and I went into the parlor. For some reason, I don't know, we sat face to face, and evidently we're supposed to say crisscross applesauce, their legs crossed. So, and then you can hear his cane walking around us. He was walking around, and we weren't afraid. There was nothing to be afraid of. And so we're walking around, and then all of a sudden, thinking, Africa. And I'm like, I'm supposed to say Africa. And Nana was like, Africa? I'm like, yeah. She's never been to Africa. He's never been to Africa. But he would tell her nighttime stories of Africa. So that was a very awesome experience, incredibly awesome. So that's my ghost story.
I wish mine was that cool.
All right, the dogs are wanting in. Hang on. Sorry about this.
Apparently, I've only had one where I actually saw one, but I was too young to remember it. And it's a situation that I don't think I'd ever want to be in as an adult anyways. Because it was, apparently when I said it, I was around 2 or 3 years old. And it was the fact that my family had gone out, and they had left me with my dad's sister. And apparently she decided that she needed to go out and get some smokes and do some gambling. So rather than take the baby, she straps me in a car seat and then snuck out the basement window. And my parents came home a couple hours later, found me in the basement in the car seat with the window open. And of course, like, she showed up and like, where the hell were you? What the fuck is going on? Why did you leave our kid here? And she's like, oh, well, he was safe. Like, I just went out to get some smokes. And like, okay, no, what the fuck? And I was like, apparently, I was speaking. I don't remember any of this. And I was like, no, it's all right. The man was keeping watch. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? I was like, yeah, the man sat with me and made sure I was safe. They're like, what man? And apparently I gave him a full description, and it was my dad's father, who died like 5 years before I was born. And it was like so accurate that my dad was like, yeah, no, that's my dad. I have no idea how the hell he's describing him because he's never met the man, but that's my dad.
That's a cool ghost story.
I used to get premonitions a lot too. Those always fucked me up.
Like, deja vu, or
it was a
more
mix.
than that?
Like, when I first saw it, I would always think it was a dream, and then I would forget about it, and then years down the road, I would get into a situation, and I would see that exact situation, like the exact same clothes, location, everything, even with people I had never met yet, and like it would just hit me in the face, and I'd just be like, oh, I've seen this before. Okay.
Used to have deja vu, and a couple of times it was so there, it was so present that, like, oh, they're in a silver Jeep with a bright green kayak on top. And I look around, and sure as shit, that's what it was. And then the second one felt like time was bending. That makes sense. It was so intense that this deja vu felt like time was bending. And that's the only way I can explain it. It's crazy, huh?
Just a bit, yeah.
I mean, the one that stuck with me from ages apparently 3 to 5, I had these really bizarre dreams, all in the same location. I'm going to describe the location. Giant pits of fire. Endless dark horizon with a slight blue tint to it. Walking over said fires on what can only be described as a wrought iron platform with many holes in it. Not unlike a fence.
Union Station?
I don't have a follow-up to your joke. I just called it fire fence, and the more I thought about it, the more I would almost say it was hell. Or 1980s music video hell as seen through a kid-safe Saturday morning cartoon. But
You know, I was gonna make the other joke where wouldn't hell have a lemonade stand, but with that description, yes, it would.
And here's the thing, there were lots of other kids there. No one was acting scared or alarmed. We were just having weird, disjointed conversations I could barely remember. The sorts that kids who are 3 to 5 have. And I
Are
think
you implying that toddlers have no souls?
well, if you didn't have a soul, how could you go there?
Well, I mean, if it's there, obviously it's not in your body.
But I remember, I think at the time, running into some of the same kids repeatedly on different nights. I just called it fire fence. My parents said that's the most horrible thing I've ever heard of, and there is no such thing.
That you know of.
I don't know. I was raised Roman Catholic, so take that as you will. It didn't take, obviously.
Why are the Catholics always the ones who are like, we believe in hell, but then you describe hell and they're like, that's not real?
Well, how would they know? Because they read it somewhere?
I had a very odd church on top of it all. It was a mixture of ridiculous stereotypes and odd amounts of liberalism. At my Catholic school, we actually talked about things like the Trail of Tears. I should note this was a Catholic elementary.
So why would they talk about that?
History class.
Okay.
Like a lot of kids I hear nowadays never hear about unpleasant chapters in history. And when I look back, it makes that Catholic elementary education look darn near left-wing in comparison.
I have a question.
Hmm.
So the Pope recently announced that as per his word, there is no more purgatory and no more limbo. So, according to Catholic doctrine, where do the unbaptized babies go now?
I think he was saying that they go straight to heaven, or at least that's what he was trying to imply. I mean, a lot of people have taken Dante's Inferno as canon, so they're putting all the virtuous pagans in the first layer, painting it as a sort of a heaven light for the first circle.
I mean, that was the thing, according to Catholic doctrine. Any unbaptized child goes straight to hell. Then they're like, no, we're just going to do purgatory because that's a little harsh. But no, he's like, there is no purgatory, there's no limbo. You go straight to heaven or straight to hell. It's like, oh. What about the babies there, Francis?
Well, what about anybody that was born before Jesus?
Yeah, they never explained that either. But that's a whole Bible thing.
Yeah, because none of them were allowed to get allowed into heaven. It wasn't until Jesus came around that, oh, well, now you're allowed into heaven. But everybody before, it's like, they just don't get a chance.
In my Catholic preschool, they actually did talk about this.
Yeah,
yes,
what this
ages 3 to 5. Coincidence? Who knows?
Now, are they trying to sugarcoat it and like hide things so people don't go up in arms about it?
Well, they were saying, oh, no one got to go into heaven. They just had to wait around until Jesus came, and then they got to go to heaven. That was basically what my school teacher said. I should also note that they demonstrated what a cat of nine tails is, so...
Isn't that the plot of,
Hey, here's Greta.
Hello.
what is that movie? Isn't that the plot of the prophecy, though? Is that nobody could get into heaven because it was sealed?
I have not seen that movie. Is that the one with Christopher Walken?
Christopher Walken as Gabriel trying to murder everybody, and then they put Viggo Mortensen as the blonde-haired, gorgeous Lucifer, who goes, I don't love you, but I'm gonna save your ass because fuck you, I can't have two hells.
Yes. Yes. That whole entire, what was it? It's not, it's The Omen. Is it The Omen?
That's
With Damien?
Yeah, no, okay, never mind.
yeah.
I just love the movie.
The Omen's the one that the second Doctor from Doctor Who was in that one. He's the priest who gets decapitated with the mirror window.
He got the best death in the entire movie.
Well, he's the second Doctor. He earned it.
Wait, no. Second best death. Best death in the entire movie is definitely the maid that jumps off and just breaks her own neck.
You guys are morbid,
It's a horror movie!
and I like it.
Raise your hand if you grew up with horror movies on cable. Grandpa Munster's hosts on Saturday mornings, anyone?
Yes.
Oh, wait.
TBS. That was where I first saw Godzilla.
We had, oh God, what was the name of it? Anyway, yeah, before all y'all, there was the Saturday afternoon monster movie. And that's where we sat and ate bean burritos and watched horror movies.
I feel like we should ask, who was your favorite horror host?
Ooh. Probably Elvira.
Yeah, probably Elvira.
Yeah.
Mine is a tie.
Between...
Vincent Price and Grandpa Munster.
That is
Vincent Price.
whiplash. Those are the two extremes of the spectrum.
Are they, though? Are they? Look at the
Because-
way they act on camera.
Vincent Price was the epitome of horror, and he acted in it. And then Grandpa Munster was like, no, I'm here to make sure that no matter how creepy things get, like, it's just an act.
On his solo hosting show, he didn't.
Besides which, Vincent Price got bitten by a frog. You know he's going to go
Yes, I
were-frog.
remember that Muppet Show episode.
He's going to go were-frog any day now.
Look, if the third Leprechaun movie had the leprechaun bite someone, and they started to turn into a leprechaun. So now I'm willing to believe anything.
Was that a leprechaun thing, or is that just what happens when Warwick Davis bites you?
It is totally Warwick Davis, and we missed out in Willow because he did not follow up.
See, that's just his power. Whatever he's dressed as, if he bites you, that's what you become. Woe be to the man who gets bitten by Wicket.
Wow, he was
Wait.
on Night Court. He could have turned you into a weremayor.
That would have been confusing, though, because what happens if he bites you while he's dressed as one of his Harry Potter characters? Which one do you turn into?
Doesn't the hat figure that out? The sorting hat?
That would be
I think the
hilarious. You got bitten, now we must figure out which character you are.
Yes.
Warwick Davis bites you, you turn into one of the other actors. It's the only way we're getting Alan Rickman back.
But what if you turn into Ray Fiennes?
What if you turn into David Tennant?
Actually, no, I wouldn't want David Tennant in that one because you'd have that horrible habit of licking your tongue.
flicking your tongue?
Yes.
Flicking, yeah, he flicks his tongue like.
Oh no, I totally said licking your tongue.
Well,
You
that's
did,
not.
and
That's,
that's what,
yeah, but that's yeah. That's
I will own up to that.
When my first sister first saw David Tennant in anything, it was a radically different departure from how most people see David Tennant. If you were in England or anywhere in Britain, your first introduction to Tennant was a pretty good chance of it being his portrayal of Casanova. For me, it was his time as the 10th Doctor. For my sister, and Ollamh, you've met my sister.
yeah.
When she saw the commercial for Doctor Who of him using the TARDIS as a sled, asked me why the Purple Man was in a BBC commercial. And I had to explain.
why was the purple man?
Yeah, I had to explain to her that yes, he plays both heroes and villains. And then I introduced her to Broadchurch, and it only went downhill from there.
Yeah, the purple man from Jessica Jones.
Oh, no, Jessica Jones. What movie? Episodes?
MCU, Netflix, probably going to get a revival before too long.
I don't have Netflix.
I may be dropping it. If it gets revival, it's going to go on to Disney.
No, I think it's already on Disney Plus.
Okay.
I think all the Netflix Marvel stuff has moved. The rights, Netflix rights to stream it have lapsed, and Marvel's like, okay, we're just gonna put those over here on Disney Plus.
And Netflix is not Sony. They're not going to fight Disney on this.
Well, Netflix can't fight them. Because once the contract is up, they can only stream it for so long. Then they have to renegotiate the contract. If Marvel and Disney says, hey, it's going to now cost you twice as much to have the license to stream that, Netflix isn't going to pay for that.
Sure.
So then Disney can make whatever deal they want.
Netflix has enough money to pay for everything and anything. They're showing commercials now.
Now, if only Netflix would buy SpaceX.
That'd be cool.
I tried watching Netflix again because I have Netflix. I mostly had it, for guests, such like the family comes over. Mom and Dad still haven't gotten used to the fact that Netflix is not mail order anymore. So, I tried watching the new remake of Ranma 1/2. Well, and I'm just like, I've got commercials. Why do I have commercials? I pay for this damn service. Unlike YouTube.
The only time I would get Netflix back is for The Sandman. We're supposed to be doing a sequel to Chapter 2, whatever, of The Sandman. And that is the only reason.
Well, how about we let gamers talk now? We're just going to get quiet and put them on the spot.
Right.
Okay. So what was the original topic about tonight? It was about, I'm assuming...
Paranormal.
Paranormal shit that you guys have encountered?
Well, that we've all encountered, yes.
Okay.
The videos were supposed to come up of the EVPs that I have. But it was just being a pain in the ass, so...
Okay. I saw something on Ollav's Discord. I think it was something Ras shared.
Yeah.
Like a doorbell or
Yeah. Yep.
door camera.
That's
what I didn't know what I was looking at there, though.
Looking at a doorbell.
What was there? Was there any ghosts in that video, or?
I haven't watched it yet, so.
It was all EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon.
Okay.
And you're supposed to hear somebody talking. You're supposed to hear whispers. You're supposed to hear one of
Yeah,
them
no,
was
I
a
know what EVPs
scream.
are. Yeah, no, yeah.
Oh, well, then,
I just
Okay.
didn't hear anything in the video. But yeah, no, I have encountered. The very first house I lived in, my parents have never believed in ghosts, like never. I mean, like not until more recently. But so there's two incidents that occurred in that house. One, my mom, she had an upstairs office, and she went upstairs to work in her office, and she heard a noise downstairs, and she was like, "That's weird. Like my kids aren't home from school yet." Because this was it was either when I was in elementary school or first year of high school. I can't remember. But so she went downstairs, and all of the cabinet doors were wide open. The front door was open. Everything was open, basically. And she's like, okay, I did not do this. And nobody else is home. So they couldn't explain that. A second time, my dad woke up to go use the bathroom, and I guess my mom was in the upstairs bathroom, so he went to the downstairs bathroom, and the light was on and the bathroom door was closed, and the exhaust fan was on and everything, and he's like, oh, well, it must be one of my kids using the bathroom. So he went back upstairs, and he waited and waited, and nobody came back up. So then he checked in on both of our rooms, and we were asleep. So then he went back downstairs to the bathroom and saw that the door was wide open, the lights were off in the bathroom, and the exhaust fan was off. Those are two incidents that happened in that old house. And then when they visited my aunt in Halifax, Nova Scotia, they were staying at her farmhouse. And my dad told me an incident where he woke up early in the morning. It was like 4 or 5 in the morning, and he just went out to the front balcony to get some fresh air, and he heard a little girl singing. And he's like, that's weird, because like this farmhouse was nowhere near any other house or any other, just local life. So he was very confused by it. And then when my aunt and uncle woke up, he was asking them, like, what? I heard this little girl singing, and it sounded like she was very close by. And they're like, oh yeah, no, that's the local ghost. They're like so nonchalant about it. They're just like, yeah, no, that's, it's just the local ghost. And my dad's like, you're joking. And they're like, no, we're being 100% serious. And that's when my dad started to believe in ghosts. And I was thinking to myself, that's when you believed in ghosts? Not when our house was haunted? But fair enough. But that's the only incidents I can recall. Now, when I lived... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was...
My experience with a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. It's fine. I can tell the rest after.
Okay, the experience with my little girl in the house, I was waiting for one of my old neighbors to come by, and she wanted to see the house, etc. And I'm waiting, and then there's a knock on the door, and I'm like, oh, the dogs heard it and everything. I'm like, oh, Ivy's here. I get up and I go to open the door, and there's a little girl in sing-song, I'm here.
Oh, that's weird.
I was terrified, heard her clear as day, clear as fucking day. I was terrified to open that door. So that's my little girl story.
Did that ever happen again, or was that the only time?
That was the only time.
Okay.
But in the EVPs, you can hear a little girl crying for her mommy. It's weird. So, yeah, that's my, one of the first experiences I've had in this house. And yeah, I was terrified to open that door. I've got an old-fashioned, it's like a rectangle peephole. I didn't even want to look through that. Absolutely terrified.
I'm so glad I don't actually hear anything. I mean, in this house, it's bad enough that, when I go up the stairs to get out of my room, I still feel like there's that person following me I know it's male, and that's about it. He's not actually like wanting to hurt or, scare. He just follows because he's a fucking prick.
So you hear someone following you up the stairs?
Oh, no. That's what I'm saying, is I don't hear anything. It's just like I can always mentally picture it, and I always like get that. It's this weird, like when you take your hand and you just barely graze over the hairs of your arm, it feels like that, but just like down your entire body. So it's like that, just like pressure. No, it's not goosebumps.
Okay.
Like that's the thing, is like it's just a sensory kind of thing where I'm like, there's definitely something there.
The hairs on your neck, basically, is what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Where it's well, that's what I'm saying. It's not like what people describe. Like the hairs don't stand up or anything. I don't get chills. I don't get scared. I am acutely aware there is somebody there. And like I can picture what they're doing. But the weird thing is with him, I can't picture a person. It's like a shadow, but not like a weird 18-bit kind of shape. So like I know he's there. I know it was somebody, but I don't know why he's there. I don't know what he wants. He just likes following people up the stairs. And then there was that faceless bitch that used to watch me shower when I was a kid. My mom always asked, like, why do you not like taking showers? It's like, because there is a fucking woman who is standing out there and she just stares. She doesn't have a face, and she only appears when I pull the curtain. I was like, if I'm just taking a bath, I'm fine. It's the moment I pull that curtain, she likes to show up, and I don't like her. Mom's like, you're crazy. I was like, probably.
What?
But respect my goddamn decision.
So when you pull the curtain, like when you pull the curtain open, is that what you're saying?
No, when you pull it closed. That's the thing. It's like I would only ever get the feeling that she was there when that curtain was closed. Even if I was just cleaning the tub, the moment that curtain closed, I could tell she was there. And it was always the same feeling, so I know it wasn't just me being paranoid.
Mm-hmm.
Tamer, finish your story.
Mine. So I was just recalling some other incidents. So when I was a kid, I used to have like really bad fevers that would cause me to hallucinate. But the one time I didn't have a fever, and I saw, I'm sure you guys know the Hat Man, if you guys follow paranormal. Yeah. So I saw him in my closet. And that was at the same house where the cabinets open and all that kind of stuff.
Did you take a shit ton of Benadryl first?
No, no. And I remember screaming, and my parents came into the room, and I said there was a guy in a hat in my closet, and they were like, "There is nobody in your closet. Go back to bed." But I remember it so clearly, to the point where when I've seen like actual photos of the Hat Man, I'm like, dude, that is the exact guy who is in my closet. I can remember quite clearly that is the exact silhouette with the tall hat and all that stuff. Now, when I moved to London, which is where I am right now, but I was living in a Victorian house, so not where I'm living right now. This was quite a few years ago. That place was haunted as hell. Like, I mean, and this is in my later years that I lived there. And like the one incident was the doorbell was constantly ringing. I was the only one home. The doorbell was constantly ringing. And I was like, what the, either somebody is at the door, like being a dick, or something's wrong with the doorbell, but nothing has ever been wrong with that doorbell. So I went down to the door, and it was still ringing. Like right when I approached the door, I'm getting ready to open it, still ringing like crazy. Doot, 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 the ringing doorbell. And then when I opened the door, nothing was there, and the doorbell stopped. And I'm like, what? What was that? And so I just went back upstairs, and it didn't happen again. No, wait, sorry. As I was going back up the stairs, it started ringing again, like crazy. And I was just like, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going back down there again, only for it to stop when I open the door again. So I just went back upstairs and I was like, you know what? It can ring for the rest of the day. I don't care. I'm not going back down there. And then the second incident, my landlord, my roommate and I were in the living room, and the living room kind of overlooks the kitchen. So like it's the living room, there's a big hallway, and you see the kitchen at the far end. And we're all sitting there watching TV in the living room, and suddenly the clock in the kitchen goes flying off the wall and smashes against the other side of the wall. And I'm like, okay, how do you explain that, Mr. Landlord? Because he always had some kind of an excuse behind this. And it was never like, whenever I'd say to him, dude, your house is haunted, he'd be like, no. So this time he tried to tell me it was the wind. I'm like, there's no hurricane going through our apartment, sir. Like, I'm sorry, but that is not what happened. So that was the other incident. And I was just like, yeah, you cannot tell me that was wind. That was like a ghost pissed off and angrily throwing the clock against the adjacent wall. So
I told the ghosties that they can't do that. There's no, you're not going to start throwing shit in my house. Stop it.
yeah.
So I told them they can't do that.
Unfortunately, it's not my house, so I can't really say that. But it was interesting, and he always had an excuse for everything. Like, dude, come on. Wind.
So he doesn't believe in poltergeist?
No,
Poltergeist
I don't think he believes in any kind of spiritual manifestations. He always had just some other excuse for everything that would happen. And I was just like, okay, man, like, come on.
Maybe he does believe, but he's so terrified of it that he has to come up, cover it with another story, another excuse.
It could be that, or maybe he thinks that the tenants will leave if he tells them, yeah, by the way, my place is haunted. So you never know. I would, if I found out his place was truly haunted and he actually said it, I'd be like, fuck that, I'm staying.
Yeah, right.
I want to see a ghost. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Oh, I just say I haven't seen one in the house. Even though my dad died in the house, I haven't seen one.
Yeah, I've never seen one either, aside from the Hat Man thing. But that's about it. Like, I mean, I've never actually seen anything besides that. And I don't even know, I could have been hallucinating when I saw that. Who freaking knows? But I think it was just too vivid to be just like a hallucination or a dream. And how many people do you know of that just like, they have a fever or something, they're like, well, I just saw the Hat Man. Like, I wouldn't even have known what the Hat Man was back then.
I mean, he is described as being a sleep paralysis demon.
Yeah, no, I have heard that. But I never suffered from sleep paralysis, though.
When I first had sleep paralysis, I was freaked the fuck out. I didn't know what was going on. And I had it in a moving car, which made the hallucinations great.
About, excuse me, a shadow people. Why is my face so red? Oh my god, I wonder if it's the ring light.
Might be.
It's certainly the ring.
Yeah, it most likely.
I didn't say light, I just said it's the ring.
I said most
It's
likely.
the ring.
Ralph.
It's the ring.
Is some nasty ass chick gonna come crawling out of my ring light? I wonder if it's just putting off heat or something, because damn.
So you mentioned shadow people, though. Have you encountered that?
Yes, I have.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Terrified the fuck out of me the first time. And this was when I was living in my art loft.
Mhm.
And I was turning over in bed. There was 3 of them standing there. And
Jesus. Like, over top?
they woke me up because, I turn over, I'm still asleep. And I was awake, screamed, of course.
Yeah.
You just don't see shadow people standing by the edge of your bed. But, yeah, I've seen them, I've experienced them, and to me, they're kind of not scary, but I don't want to continue seeing them.
Yeah. That makes sense. I wouldn't want to see them either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So have any of you done any digging or into the history of the places you guys have lived? And this question doesn't just go out. This question goes for all three of you, because I think you've all experienced paranormal stuff by the sounds of it. Have any of you done any digging into the history of your properties to see if anybody died there, or if there is any prior incidents before you moved there?
I live in Virginia. I live in a city that was the entire county and this entire area was a battlefield. And I happen to live on a swamp in the battlefield. So yeah, we know that people died.
Yeah.
My parents actually told me that back in the... So we lived in a neighborhood fairly, only maybe a mile down the road from where we are right now.
Okay.
Before I was born.
Yeah.
But when I was born, we moved to the other side of the park. But that park has a slave cemetery, a military cemetery, the cemetery for the family that actually owned it. And I was like, gee, that's a lot of fucking dead people.
Yeah, you're surrounded by dead people, basically.
But they were saying that in both the old house and this one, when they went to sleep, in the middle of the night, they would wake up 3, 4 in the morning, and they would hear people shouting orders. They would hear cannons and gunfire. And Dad was like, the weirdest part was, on the nights we didn't hear that, I would hear a grandfather clock. We don't have a grandfather clock, so I don't know what the hell was chiming, but that was creepy.
Is this where you currently live, or was this your childhood home?
My childhood home is where I currently live.
Okay, all right. So I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
So it is still the same place. So do you still hear that shit nowadays too, or?
No.
Okay.
Like I said, when a few years back, everything that I used to hear and feel dulled, and I think it's because I fucked up and did something incredibly stupid. But I've just kind of lived with it. Note to anyone out there who believes in spirituality and manipulating the forces: if you move into a room of a house and you happen to notice a gigantic mass of negative energy, do not try to exorcise it by taking it into yourself.
What?
No, you don't do that. You don't do that.
I did, because I'm stupid.
It's almost as bad as people who go
or something. Or...
It's almost as bad as the people who go well, I live in a haunted house, better bring out the Ouija board. I'm like, okay.
Well, no, I tried everything. I did the cleansings and all that, and I told it to go away, open the windows, did everything. It just stood there, and it was right in front of my door. And I was like, I don't get it. It doesn't move around. It doesn't have a shape to it. It doesn't have any there's no sentience or anything, so it wasn't like it was a person. It was just this big ass black cloud of bad juju. But it didn't want to hurt anybody. It was just there.
Was it
all right.
physical? Were you able to see it? Or
no, like I said, I don't physically see anything. Yeah, it's just I always picture it in my head. So that's how I get the descriptions. I was like, I don't get this. This isn't a person. It's not a feeling. It's not the house itself. It's just this massive no. So it's okay, well, the only other thing I've got is I can just take the massive cloud and then run down to a church and get myself cleansed. Maybe that'll work. It did not.
Fair enough.
I already knew when the story that I told about my pretty wild incident, but that was Nana's house, and that was her dad. I tried in this house. My house was built in 1928. And I want to know why I'm hearing that little girl. I want to know why. And I actually called the historian, and I asked her, I said, can you do some research for me? And she never got back to me. I would love to be able to have the time to do it, but dogs. So yeah, I would really love to know the history of my house.
I mean, have you tried like searching it up online, seeing if there was like anything online regarding your host's history?
I actually did, and there was really nothing to find. And the lady at the library, she says, well, we've got files here. She says, go online and look for it. And I couldn't find squat. So I was kind of bummed. And then that's when I called Reno Historical Society. I said, please help me research this house. Mm-hmm. And, apparently she has another job. And I understand that. Nobody has time to really, if they have another job, to sit down and research somebody's property. So when I have time, I would really like to go to the library and figure this out.
Yeah. Hopefully, well, if you do find out anything, let us know. That's I'm really interested. That's cool.
Funny thing is, I didn't think we'd all be into this topic.
Oh yeah, no, I've been, oh my god, I've been into ghosts and the paranormal since I was a kid. It's for me, it's I've always believed in ghosts. Like I whenever anybody brings up ghost type phenomenon or anything, I'm always right there, because I'm like, I really love that kind of stuff. One of my favorite series is the TV series A Haunting. I don't know if you guys have ever watched that. It's like a documentary. They're reenactments of actual people who experienced hauntings in their homes.
It's one of the better ones. I was about to say, it's one of the reasons I hate paranormal programming, is because everything is so faked now. Well,
it's one of the better ones because they use Hollywood actors to do the reenactments. Because I remember one episode, they had Bill Moseley on it reenacting stuff. And I'm like, damn, man.
Somebody you want reenacting paranormal shit, it's Bill Moseley.
Right? And I was just like, okay, that's when you know this show is good. When they get reenactors like that.
They had a show down here. It was, I think it was a celebrity haunting? Where it was the same thing, but it was like actually the celebrities telling you their stories.
I've seen that show. Yeah, I've seen that show. I didn't much care for the host of the show. I felt that she was like, I don't know. It wasn't that. It was that okay. It felt like she
didn't fit.
No, she was like negative to like, it felt like she just didn't. She was like interviewing the actors on what they saw, and she was just like, her responses were always like, oh, that's interesting. It was very like monotone, like she didn't believe them. Like she was just there to do the show, and she didn't care about what they had to say. That's the kind of vibe I got from her, and I was like, okay, you know what? If you're gonna treat, you have on all these actors telling you about their ghost experiences, and you're just like, what's the point of even being on the show? I don't know. I just, to me, it was just stupid.
One of the ones I hate the most is the Dead Files. Can't stand that show.
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
So the premise is that she's a psychic, and then she partners up with an ex-NYPD homicide detective, and they take turns investigating the house. So like he goes in during the day, interviews the family, like checks out potential rooms that they need to focus on, and then digs into the history, like sees if anybody died or if there were any major events or anything. And inevitably, he always comes up with like murder houses, like, oh my god, 17 people died here. This guy just had a psychotic break and beat people to death with a wooden spoon. And I was like, in every house? In every house, somebody has been murdered. What the fuck? And then she comes in at night, and they like cover all the photos and get rid of all personal items, nothing that could identify the family or lead her. And then she's always like, "Oh my god, there's a really intense negative male energy, and there's a demon coming out of that wall that wants to hurt people, and there's a killer clown over in the corner." I was like, can you just once find a happy house? Just once.
It sounds fake. It reminds me of there is this one show, I think it was called Most Haunted or something back in the day, and it had this Irish guy who claimed to be a psychic and knew about it. And then he came out on like a talk show and he's like, "Oh yeah, my show is all fake." It's like, well, you just ruined your career.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. That you, I guess, if you want to tell everybody that everything that they're watching is fake.
Well, and then we get the king of ghost bullshit with Zach Bagans.
He was too. I filmed with him twice. And what an asshole.
Is that the guy? Is that the guy who ran the show Paranormal State or whatever it was called?
No, he is the... What do you want to call it? Not host. He's the glory
Like the
bitch
lead.
whore of Ghost Adventures.
Yeah, he's God. Yeah, Ghost
Okay.
Adventures crew.
So he does Ghost Adventures, and when it first started out, people thought it could be legitimate because they seemed to be okay. But then as it went on, more and more people left the show. And at first it was his co-investigator, Nick. And then later on it was a kid that they had trained named Dakota. And both Nick and Dakota tried to start their own shows on the network. And they lasted for like 3 episodes each and got great ratings. People wanted to watch it. And then out of nowhere they got canceled. And the network... Yeah, the network was like, "Oh, well, there wasn't really that much interest." And like, no, bullshit. We saw the dailies, we saw the ratings, we saw that the audiences were raving about this. What the fuck happened? And then years later, yeah, Nick's NDA finally expired because Zach makes everybody sign like a 10-year NDA. And it finally expired. And he's like, no. I went to the network and I asked. It turns out Zach managed to get himself a producer slot at the network, and when he saw me and Dakota trying to make shows, he canceled them so that nobody could compete with Ghost Adventures.
So he's a dick, basically.
Oh, he's a massive dick. He owns
Yes.
a haunted museum in Las Vegas, and he actively says that he keeps dangerous and cursed objects just out in the open where anybody can grab them so that it's more real.
So the guy I was thinking of, he ran a show called Paranormal State, and the reason that show went off the air was because he went to some kind of a convention or something. He got piss-ass drunk and started doing really weird shit. And he was like treating his fans like shit. He went out at one point into the parking lot of the convention and started throwing bricks through a bunch of windows of cars and just stupid shit. And then he also came out and said that anybody who watches his show and thinks that it's real is an idiot. So like, it's like, well, why even bother having a show if you're gonna be like that? If you're gonna be like that? Like, I don't understand.
They never actually got anything. They were sending the girl out to do research. They were sending the other guy to get out and they never caught like a ghost or I don't even think they caught an EVP, but paranormal whatever. I couldn't watch them. They were just so fake to me.
Yeah.
Actually, gamers, we'll give you the prime evidence. So going back to Zach for a minute, it had lost credibility for years, Ghost Adventures. But the moment everybody said that it lost credibility and just became Zach's ego showing through, was the episode they went to a haunted house, like the Halloween attraction haunted house.
Okay.
And they're like, "Oh, this haunted house actually has ghosts." And in order to prove it and help us investigate, I have my very good friend Post Malone. And I was like, Post Malone? What?
Okay. Right.
And everyone's like, you know, maybe Posty's into the ghosts and shit, but like, you had to introduce him as your very good friend. Like, really, Zach?
Yeah.
Let me remind you, Nightkind, you brought up Jonathan Frakes' show earlier, the one with Riker hosting.
Yeah.
And I've watched someone put together little compilations of his openings, and this is what convinces me that no, you want to make these shows entertaining, you need a good personality there. And all I can do is picture Frakes doing one of his Riker chair poses and going, have you ever been to a wine tasting and everyone's feet turn to cheese? Have you ever been the lone trombone player in a sea of clarinets? Just strange opening lines like that.
Oh my, yeah, I didn't watch too much of that, but I was just really looking for the, what's up?
It is worth it just for him.
Well, okay. But, you know, that kind of stuff, I just don't even bother. I don't bother. And yeah, for a minute there, I was really into Ghost Adventures. And like when they were, and this is where I filmed with them, was the Washoe Club in Virginia City. And then we did the Goldfield Hotel in Goldfield, Nevada. And the more that I was filming with them and the more that they were progressing, was, oh my God, somebody threw that rock. Nobody saw it being thrown. And so he was just trying to, I don't even know the words right now, just to make himself bigger, and that everybody would come on and say, oh my God, Zach Bagans, oh. But he turned out to be such an asshole. Such an asshole.
Yeah.
You said you filmed with him. What was that like? What was the project?
It was just an episode of Ghost Adventure, and I can't even find it on YouTube anymore. We were in the Washoe Club, and that place is haunted as
Oh, the Washoe Club. I know that episode. That's
Yeah.
one of the most boring episodes they have.
hey.
No. Just because it is just Zach trying to pump everything up.
Yeah.
Like, barely anything happens, and then he's like, oh my God, did you hear that? They told us to get out or they're gonna murder us. And it's like, nothing happened.
So
You just showed us 3 minutes of an empty club with nothing happening.
So he Capone's vaulted it?
Basically. Like, he's gotten to the point where, because ghosts are passé now, nothing is ever just haunted. It's all demons. Demons specifically coming for him. Demons from hell specifically coming for him because they've been exorcised by him before, or a skinwalker, which is also a demon, which also wants to kill him because he's exorcised it before.
Well, he also introduces the start of the show with, ever since I was a kid, and then this happened to me, and I have been looking for ghosts ever since.
Wait. Hold on, let me see. I had this shit memorized for a while. What was it? There are things in this world that we will never fully understand. My name is Zach Bagans. Ever since I was attacked by a ghost when I was a child, I have been on the hunt for paranormal evidence.
So was this a TV?
That would be it.
Was this a TV series, or was it like one of those YouTuber?
It is a TV series.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
Are they still
is.
on?
Okay.
Yes, because Zach still has pull. He's the producer at the network.
Okay.
So as long as he's got producer status, he's going to keep Ghost Adventures running. And that's why they've devolved into, oh no, it's a monster now.
Yeah. Demons. Everything's a demon. This is so evil.
Well, like, they went out to, it was the middle of the fucking desert. And there wasn't an asylum, there wasn't a strip mine, there wasn't anything that he normally says is there. But there was, like, an abandoned church. And then they locked Aaron in the church because that's what they do. They lock Aaron in every fucking location.
Poor Aaron.
But as he was in the church, like they showed you the infrared camera, and they had something. It was one of the times like you're like, oh hey, that could have actually been something. It's something walk in the background across the infrared. But the thing is because it's the middle of the desert, I was laughing my ass off because they're like, look at the infrared. It is 3 a.m. in the Nevada desert. Quick, children, is the Nevada desert hot or cold at night? I am specifically saying Nevada to piss him off.
Because he lives in Las Vegas.
Yes, but quick, is the desert hot or cold at night?
Depends. Because it can be warm, like 70 some odd degrees at night.
And that's what I was laughing at. He's like, oh, we need jackets because it's the desert, it's freezing, it's cold. They show the thermal imaging, everything is reading is like 98, 97. I was like, so you're saying it's cold, that FLIR is hot as hell. The thing that you're filming that you're saying is a human or a ghost is like purple as shit, which means it's got no body temperature. Come on, Baggins.
Sometimes it can get cold in the summer, but
yeah,
maybe in the fall where they're all bundled up because
yeah. And they're like, oh my god, do you see those red eyes? Those red eyes, it's a skinwalker. And they're like, oh wait, no, it's a reflective bottle. We fucked up.
I am so tired of that. You see that light? Oh my god, there's a light. Oh, there's an orb. A light anomaly. Oh, there's an orb. There's a demon in it.
That's why EVPs and I don't get along anymore because everybody and their mother has an EVP.
Oh, I'm a part of Facebook pages of people of like, you know, paranormal investigations, whatever, where people are like sharing like everything. Like it's so stupid. I'm like, you ever think that maybe it's pareidolia? Because like, I mean, these people are showing photos of like their fireplace and being like, I swear there's a demon's face in it. I'm like, okay, just stop. All right. I mean, some of it, yeah, maybe. But I mean, Christ, these people are uploading photos every second and saying that everything's a ghost. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Seriously?
Let's not forget, Zach Baggins is also personally responsible for half the bullshit you hear in paranormal shows now, where before Zach said it on Ghost Adventures, no paranormal show was like, oh my god, there was 3 knocks, it's mocking the Holy Trinity, it's a fucking demon. He said it and pushed it and said it over and over again, and then suddenly everyone's like, oh my god, if you hear a little girl and hear 3 knocks, it's a fucking demon. I was like, or you're an idiot.
Yeah. So there was a show, I managed to find it on I don't remember where I got it from, but I have it digitally. It was a BBC series from the early 90s, I want to say, called Ghost Watch. Now, it's filmed like a news broadcast, where it's a movie, but they filmed it like it was a news broadcast in Britain, and it's talking about we're going to investigate this woman who claims that her house is haunted. We're going live there now, etc., etc. And it's a 2-hour movie and supposed to be all live, and then they go to the house and there's crazy shit that happens there. They film it all and everything like that. And then when they go back to the news person, the news forecast or whatever, the entire news station is like possessed, and like lights are going off and on, and crazy shit is happening at the news station. And then they just cut it. They just cut the movie right then and there. No ending credits, nothing. And then all the people back then who saw this were like, what the fuck just happened? They thought it was all real because of how it was filmed. And it turned out it was just a movie. It was just a movie where they got the entire news crew. And these are actual news crew from like the news stations. They got them all involved in this movie and made it for Halloween.
So,
And it's one of the best movies I have ever seen because it feels so realistic, and it's not. The entire thing is filmed and scripted.
So it's like the radio version of War of the Worlds. Like, people didn't really mass panic the way it's portrayed now, but
no, but back then, I remember War of the Worlds back then on the radio station. Everybody thought that the aliens were going to come and attack them. I remember that. Yeah, it's very similar, and it's called Ghost Watch, and it's really good. I mean, it drags certainly because it's 2 hours of like they made it so professional. They had like a paranormal investigators there and everything, and you know they're interviewing the woman, and then they put the cameras in the house, typical of what you see in these modern shows. But the difference is where you know, the news crew starts to get possessed and things like that, and then it goes back to the news station, and as they're trying to you know, talk about something else in the news, the lights are going on and off and sparks are flying. It's just craziness. And like I said, there is no ending credits. It's just kind of just boom, done. Basically the camera's cut and that's the end of the movie.
What's the name again?
Ghost Watch.
one word or two?
It's all one word, if I remember correctly. I found it on YouTube. Let me hang on. Ghost Watch. It's from 1992. Ghost Watch TV movie. Yeah. In a live broadcast on Halloween night, a BBC team investigator reported poltergeist in... One sec. Waiting for IMDb to not be stupid.
That's
an ordinary London home. So it's funny because when they cut back and forth between you know, the people inside the house, and then they go back to the news station. They're like, well, we got people on the phone right now. What do you think about this? And blah blah blah. You know, it's kind of all over the place. Kind of makes it feel like it's all real, but it's not. And again, it's if you go to their IMDb, you can see that everybody involved were all actors. It's kind of like Blair Witch before Blair Witch. Except, you know, a bit more believable than Blair Witch.
I liked Blair Witch, but I still want to know how.
Go ahead.
I still want to know how their camera battery lasted that long. I mean, they're constantly filming. Where did they get that awesome battery?
Oh, they were given multiple batteries. So I actually spoke to Dan Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez in the past, who are the creators of the Blair Witch Project. And it's really interesting how they filmed that entire thing. So they didn't let the actors know that they were that it was a movie. They were just like, go out, film in the woods. They didn't give them any other directions aside from the fact that you will see on various trees envelopes, and one will be written for a specific actor, a specific person, not actor, they did because they didn't want them to know it was a movie, but a specific person. So like, you know, Heather or Mike or Josh, you know, it's going to have like an envelope with their name on it. When they see all that, they have to make sure their cameras aren't filming it. And they have to open the envelope and they have to do whatever it says on the envelope. And normally it was things like, you know, go to this location and try to find this or whatever. So the genuine fear in that video, like them freaking out and everything, that was all real. Because when they were having the actors go and do all these things, they were not telling them what they were going to encounter or anything. And then they would like fuck with them and be like, okay, you know, here's some Twana stick figures that we just hung from the trees. You guys are going to see this. But, you know, they would not tell them that. They would have them experience it firsthand. And so anytime you saw the actors crying in that movie or really, you know, emotionally distressed, it was all real because they wanted genuine reactions from them. Yeah. And it actually was so traumatizing that Heather Donahue... So the stupid thing is that when the movie first came out, they had us, all three actors were not allowed to say anything about the creation of the movie for at least 4 to 5 years. They had like a silence pact or whatever the fuck it is, telling them they weren't allowed to discuss anything about how the movie was done, blah, 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 blah. Years later, Heather Donahue came forth on a talk show, and she was saying that the emotional distress she was put through of that movie made her quit acting. She wants nothing to do with it ever again. Yeah.
So the snot bubbles were real?
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting how they did that.
And then Hollywood took over after that, because Blair Witch 2 was just Hollywood mess, and then
Blair Witch 2 made no fucking sense.
The only thing I liked about Blair Witch 2 is there's so many Easter eggs in that movie, and they were so well freaking done. And unless you're paying attention to every single thing that is happening, you're gonna miss them. So when they go to the cemetery and that goth girl is sitting on the gravestone, if you look at the gravestone behind her, it says the name of the Blair Witch, Eileen Treacle or whatever. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and it says her gravestone, and then it cuts away to another actor, then it cuts back to her, and the gravestone says, "You're going to die." Split second things like that all throughout the movie. There's like another one where like they're opening a door, and the shadow in the background of the door is that of a kid covered in blood. Split second thing. And it was done deliberately, but so many people missed it when they were watching the movie. And I'm like,
because it was edited like shit.
I don't know, but the version I have shows all of that stuff, and I'm like, that was the best part of that movie, in my opinion, was all the little Easter eggs that were just like appearing all over the place, all throughout the movie. I thought that was genius. But again, many people didn't catch it and didn't see it. And then the third Blair Witch one, the more modern one, that one was just garbage as well. I didn't understand that. That one was even worse than the second one, in my opinion. That one was just crazy.
I forgot there even was a third one.
It didn't make any sense. It was just milking a franchise, I'm pretty sure, at that point, because like the story made no sense. It was supposedly suddenly Heather Donahue's brother 20 years later decides to go back into the woods and look for her, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she's long gone now. I mean, this is 20 years later. Are you expecting to find her? You're just gonna show up at Rustin Parr's house, that house that they end up in at the end of the first movie, and she's just in there having a cup of tea? Like, what's going on? Like it was the premise. The premise was so stupid, and I'm like, that's why I hate when Hollywood buys out franchises, because they sold out.
There in the basement, dressed like the Blair Witch, like, hey, what's up?
yeah. Just having a spot of tea with the Blair Witch, it happens all the time. But like, it's so stupid when all these like indie filmmakers sell out to Hollywood and then their movies go to shit. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people like the Saw movies, but honestly, the best Saw movie was the first one, the original. And the guy who made it was a Toronto film student who entered the film in the Toronto Film Festival, and suddenly Hollywood wants to buy it out. Now, how many Saw movies do we have? Like 17? Like, what's going on?
How many times can you put somebody in a situation and say, cut off your hand? If you do this, you have to cut off your hand.
It's so stupid. And I'm like, okay, like, I mean, the first one was inventive and everything, unique. It was an indie film. But then Hollywood is just like milking it into the ground. Like, come on.
The moment they got rid of Tobin Bell as a principal actor, the entire franchise just went to shit. I swear that was the only reason, like, any of it was good.
I don't know. Like, so I can't remember the James, not Anthony, something Wong. The original creator
James
of Saw
Wan.
was, sorry?
James Wan.
That's it. And he, believe it or not, he was involved in the Saw video games by Konami. He was the head writer of those games.
Mm-hmm. He still makes a lot of good horror movies to this day.
And that's why I think a lot of people, I feel sorry for the people who bypassed those Saw games on PS3, PS2, whatever it was on, because those games were amazing. Like, they were so good. And I have them both still. I love them. They were incredible games. But a lot of people just bypassed them thinking like, oh, it's just another typical, movie-based game that's probably going to suck.
So this is a good dovetail into what I was about to ask. How many of us have seen Stay Alive?
The name sounds familiar.
None of you have seen Stay Alive? I feel so disappointed. So Stay Alive is it is a Hollywood film, but it is about a cursed video game that summons the spirit of Elizabeth Bathory.
Dude, I want to see this so bad now. This premise sounds amazing.
It is amazing.
How have I not heard of this?
So here's the thing, though.
Friends decided to play a killer video game base.
It came out and everybody panned it because it was killer video game, and Frankie Muniz was in it. But Frankie Muniz turns out to be like the best character in the movie because he's sarcastic as shit. But it came out when the PS2 was the king of video games, and they used the exact sound of a DualShock vibrating. So to this day, people who are still like have PTSD from Stay Alive hear a DualShock vibrate and are just like, "Oh my god, what the fuck?"
I'm gonna have to watch this. This looks.
Oh yeah, and that one has a great Easter egg too, because it's like you said with Blair Witch, because they imply that Bathory is always watching. If you look in the background, they'll find ways to work her in. So in the opening shot, there's a guy. He's sitting at his table, and he goes to get a drink, and as he moves from the chair, they show a shadow on the wall behind him that forms a face and then just kind of floats off. And then she'll appear in wide shots where she's just standing behind a tree or something. And then the DualShock, the vibration, is how they announce that she's near. And the louder the vibration gets, the closer she is. And I was like, fuck, that is amazing. I never would have thought of that.
I'm so glad you told me about this movie.
It also has my favorite line in horror cinema, which is, it turns out, not only... So the whole thing is, if she kills you in the game, you die that way in real life. Yeah. But then later in the movie, they reveal she can manipulate the game, so she can, like, unpause it and move your character and shit. And at one point, one of the characters is sitting outside a van, and she closes the van and purposely steers their character to death. And he's like, sits there and he's trying to get in the van and sees it happening, and he just shouts out, "That's cheating! I'm not dead yet!" And I was like, yes, that is my horror anthem.
Rasclin, do you watch horror movies?
I watched a lot more when I was a kid. It started with mostly kaiju things like Godzilla, King Kong, Gorgo, Ghidorah, and then eventually I got into the traditional Universal stuff. The Lugosi Dracula, the Karloff Frankenstein, the Cheney Werewolf. For some reason, I think I prefer things before the Hammer films really start hitting their stride. Unless there's like a heavy amount of plot. Sometimes a horror movie like seems absolutely fascinating, and sometimes I'm like, how the hell did this get greenlit?
Yeah. I mean, if it's a Hammer film, that's exactly how it got greenlit.
The best horror film I've seen lately was a World War II horror film called Overlord. Caught it a few years ago at the height of the pandemic. Nazis doing body experiment horror in a French town.
How did they get away with that?
I mean, Nazis and horror just go hand in hand.
And it's got one of the actors in this film is best known now as U.S. Agent in the MCU after he debuted in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I just sent a link to the Pirates Crew for Ghost Watch. I found the full movie for you guys, so you just go there and you'll be able to watch the full movie.
Okay.
And that's not what I
Thank
was
you.
telling you guys about. Yeah, no problem. Did you guys know, this is kind of off topic and kind of not. Did you guys know, because you brought up Frankie Muniz, did you know that he can't remember anything of his youth whatsoever? He got into a bad car accident, and he didn't even know he was in Malcolm in the Middle. He had no idea. He was like, people were like telling him, and he's like, I don't believe that. I've never been an actor. And then the people had to like prove it to him that look, that's you.
Yeah, it wasn't just a bad accident, because once he retired from acting, he immediately went into high-speed racing. So he went from like acting to race car driving and was like, hey, that's a shift.
Yeah. It's really weird. Like I remember he was in interviews and he was telling the interviewers that like he was constantly getting stopped on the street and you know, people were wanting his autograph, and he's like, what for? I didn't do anything. They were like, you've been in you know, shows that I watched in my childhood. He's like, no, I haven't. I've never acted a day in my life. It's pretty crazy. What was did he get into a car accident? Was that what it was?
Yeah, it was during a race, and he went to take a turn, and I think he overcorrected, and he hit the wall and basically just went end over end for a while.
Jesus. Another thing that I always found weird is, out of all the TV shows that come out constantly and everything, why have we never got a Malcolm in the Middle DVD box set ever? Like, it's so weird to me. Like, that show, at least to my knowledge, was highly successful when it aired on TV. I'm just surprised that nobody has decided to release it in a box set, because I feel like that thing would sell like crazy.
Maybe because Bryan Cranston hasn't demanded it yet.
Maybe one day. Yeah.
Okay, so now we need to hear from Rask and Ollamh.
As far as what?
I don't know, I just like to keep things balanced, and you two have been quiet as shit.
Have you,
Narrative.
Ollamh, have you ever experienced any paranormal stuff?
Not really, no.
Oh, okay.
You mean this doesn't count?
All right.
I mean,
How do you know the four of us aren't actually just hallucinations or ghosts?
because I know one of you personally. I've met him.
Imaginary friends exist?
Imaginary friends don't drive you to the store.
Are you sure? Fight Club says different.
No, that's you driving yourself to the store and thinking it's somebody else.
And how can you prove that's not exactly what you thought?
Because right now my car doesn't work.
Well, he's got you there.
No, he doesn't. He went out, stole a car, thought it was somebody else's.
No, see, as far as like houses and stuff, it's like, well, no, the house that I live in, my mother lived in the neighborhood when it was built. She personally knew the first owner, and my parents were the second owner, and I've kind of taken over, so. And even like both of my grandparents, they built their houses.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, I can safely say, well, no, there's no, nobody has died in either.
Fair enough. Do you believe in the paranormal?
Yeah.
Okay. But you've never actually experienced anything, though.
No. About the
Okay.
closest I could think of that would that might count would be kind of the trying to remember the terminology for it. Basically the idea that of if one person thinks of something, then it's kind of a general idea that's just throughout humanity. What was it?
Zeitgeist?
Kind of.
Isn't zeitgeist just the idea of the times?
Well, yeah, it's a zeitgeist is kind of the popular opinion or belief. It's morphic resonance, I think, is what it is. But it's kind of the idea of, okay, for example, the Egyptians and the Mayans both, without having contact with one another, both came up with the idea of basically building pyramids.
I've seen this reviewed, like, it's more than just them. There's a lot of people who do build pyramids, but though that's usually a matter of practicality.
Or, it's one of those things that, strangely enough, it happens a lot with YouTubers. Is people come up with almost identical ideas at the same time, put up the videos at the same time, and everybody assumes, oh, well, you just saw somebody else do it and you did it yourself. It's like, but they're like hours apart. How the hell am I going to put together a production, record it, edit it, and put it up within an hour of seeing somebody else do it?
Especially with the upload speeds.
I've got one for you that's a little older, but you'll like this. We all remember Dennis the Menace, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same time the US cartoon came out, or comic strip, I should say, almost to the day, there was a British version, and both had been in planning and, the equivalent of pre-production for print, at least, for some time by that point. And yet they're released at nearly the same time. Bizarre coincidence, they didn't really have a lot in the way of legal battles afterwards beyond looking at each other and going, what the hell? What's your trademark date? Blah. What's your trademark date? Blah. UK? US. Huh?
But yeah, it's one of those strange things that's happened throughout human history. People that have had zero contact with each other, or with people that have had no kind of contact, but they all come up with the same type idea at the same time. But that's about the closest I've got.
There.
I'm reading up on sagebrush allergies because last night I saged my house because I did not want that EVP that said, fuck you. You don't need to have that. There's no negative energy in the house. So, like last night, I got this major fucking migraine headache. Now that my face is all red, I'm thinking that I was allergic. So don't sage your house if you're allergic. You just let that mean old EVP just do its thing.
Are you okay?
Well, I'm just thinking I'm afraid that I'm getting another migraine because I'm getting a headache here, and I'm still upset to my stomach, so I'm afraid. I need to air out this house. So, anyway, sage. Back to I wasn't paying attention, and the paranormal is, you want to sage your house to get rid of all that negative energy. If you're allergic to it, don't do it.
Hold on, did I miss something here? Did you experience something last night?
Yeah, last night, Rasclin, when I got that fuck you EVP, for some reason, I always listen to, I've got security cameras in the house. And of course, I have my Ring camera. So I was just listening to a random video and I couldn't believe what it said. And it said, fuck you. I had to listen to it and listen to it and listen to it. And it said, fuck you. You're not coming in my house with that bad attitude bullshit. So I saged the house really well. And now I'm not feeling
So that was a doorbell video, was that? That's what you
It was
heard
one of
about?
my security cameras.
Okay. So it wasn't something inside the house. It was outside.
Yes. No, it was
Yeah,
something in the house.
It was something in the house?
Yeah.
It was a different video than the one that's in the chat right now.
Yeah, no,
Can't
I
see it.
figured.
Okay. Well, I didn't put it on there because it was really hard to hear. Rasclin couldn't hear anything on it. So we didn't use that video.
Is there any way you could enhance it? Maybe enhance the audio? Or did you guys try?
I had wanted to start doing that because there's a lot, like the dogs barking, me closing the security screen door. There's just a lot of external noise that I would love to erase, that I would just love to get off of that. And to hear that specific. And I don't know how to do that. I don't have the software to do it. I don't have anything to do that. So I would love to be able to do it. I don't know anybody. I mean, I know Janice Oberding. He writes. Anyway, she's a big paranormal person here in Reno. So, but I don't have anybody to talk to. I actually contacted a recording studio to see if they can do that, and of course, they never called me back. So, this is where I am with it. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Can't talk to anybody about it. I can't work the hardware. I'm highly technology. I can't do it. I can't do tech at all. So I can't do it.
I mean, if you get me the audio, I can see what I can do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've enhanced audio myself using Audacity, and it works good enough. Yeah, there's got to be a way. I'm sure Ollamh can figure it out for sure.
I was gonna say, yeah, I use Audacity too. It's the easiest to work with and free.
Right.
So.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm sure we can get the audio enhanced for you. One of us can.
Well, you guys pick a video and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the zip file I've made, so I will see if I can go ahead and upload that directly into the chat. It's got 10 of the videos.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Exceeds the file limit.
No, of course.
Yeah, I think their file limit is like
Oh god, it's
8 meg.
No, it's 10 megabytes.
No, it's 10
It's
now.
so-
Okay.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Well,
Like everything is over 10 nowadays.
I can individually send them also to you, Ollamh, so...
Okay. I'm gonna say, yeah, the individual ones will be a lot less than 10, but
Right. I thought
Rasclin, don't you have the ones that I sent one by one?
Yes, those are the ones. I'd zipped them into one file. I thought it would be okay, but apparently that did not shrink the file size and its zip form as much as I thought it would. So I'll go ahead and start sending those now to Ollamh.
Okay. Some of them are just crystal clear. And then some of them you kind of have to really listen to. And I just put in my earbuds, make sure that it's in a space where the door isn't getting slammed, the dogs aren't barking, etc. And, I cover my ears with my hands and I'm like, holy shit, it did say something. And that's why I have almost 200 videos of, just recordings of these EVPs.
And they should all be sent now.
Okay. I need to take a real quick break because I need to run to the bathroom, so I'll be right back.
All right.
Actually.
So I like the artwork on your wall behind you. That's really interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really cool.
This one right here was painted by a very good friend, and it's huge. It's a huge painting. And he also painted this little skeleton one. He said it looks like me. Okay. So I love my art. I actually had one of my clients, I do dog boarding, and I actually had a client come into my house. She wanted to see where her dog was going to stay, and I'm like, fine, come on in. She looks at my art, and she's looking around, and then she's like, are all these pictures of the devil? Back to another one who thinks everything's the fucking devil.
So did she end up boarding her dog there, or did she get scared?
Oh, hell no. She was scared. Yeah. Hell no.
That's funny.
So, and I have a lot of my AI work. I call them renders because it's not art by any situation, but I call them renders. And some of them turned out absolutely amazing. So I have them on the wall. And that's the devil. No, it's not. It's a post-apocalyptic picture of, some really skinny dude. And yeah, she couldn't run fast enough for my house. So yeah, I love my art. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. You're very welcome. The one with the dude with the horns in the back and behind you there reminds me of a Wendigo almost. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be.
I think, did I put that? Now that you can, it's showing all the, is that, because I think I was calling it a forest sprite or something. Maybe I did use the Wendigo prompt because that's one of my favorite prompts to use.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, forest sprite and Wendigo are kind of the same thing in a sense. But yeah, no, that's what it looks like for sure.
Okay. Yeah, obviously that's one of my favorites. And if they're really good ones, then I have them professionally printed and buy all the special frames and stuff. And I wish I can show you my favorite one because I feel it is just an absolute amazing picture. So do that, but take my word for it. It's amazing.
That's awesome. And you said you did these all in AI generation, or?
Yeah, all of my art. Well, my art is also encaustic. I don't know if you're familiar with encaustic.
No, I'm not.
Okay. You're working with a special wax.
Okay.
And it has a lot of what word am I looking for? My brain is gone. It got cooked last night. So there's a lot of pigment in this wax, and you have to melt it, and then you can do almost anything you want with it. And I've seen some amazing pictures with encaustic, but I just kind of like blew it around with the heat gun, and so that like this picture over here looks like a skull. It looks like a skull. So I'm like, yeah, we're gonna have that one printed. And so I like doing the encaustic. And then I got into doing AI, and I just didn't know how to do it. I sucked at it, absolutely horrible. And then when I figured it out, it was like, hey, this is fun. This is good. But again, it's a render because I'm just putting in words and it finds, well, you guys know how it works. So I was having fun with it. And like I said, I got some amazing pictures off of it. But I don't do it that much anymore because how many times can you come up with a human demon sitting on a throne, hyper realistic fantasy? How many times can you come up with these words?
It also AI art generation has a negative connotation to it anyway, because like a lot of people feel that it's taking away from actual artists, which I understand. But I still use it here and there myself. Mainly to make silly art. But
The other part of that is the fact of how it makes its images, which is
by stealing.
scraping. Yeah, it scrapes the images of other artists and just shoves them together. So
Yeah.
you can understand that.
I find it interesting with the videos, with AI videos, how if you ever look at the way like any cloth movement or any hair movement or anything like that goes, it's always it always looks like it's reversed. It always looks like they took the footage, reversed it, and reversed it. Because if you look,
I have seen a lot of videos like that. I'll have to look again.
yeah, because if you look, like when somebody like throws their hair back, the hair like it kind of moves from the back and then forward, and that's what it always creeps me out, because it's like, okay, that's just not right.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been able to myself. I've always been able to tell when something's AI generated. There's little nuances like, 6 fingers on one hand, or there's always something. There's always something that just gives it away. Whether it be like the background characters look like Pablo Picasso paintings or whatever. It's just there's always something that makes you realize, yeah, that's AI.
There's also the facial movements, because you'll always find something uncanny about like how smooth and relaxed they are no matter the situation.
Yeah.
It's like that doesn't happen in real life. We always jerk around. There's always those micro movements, but AI doesn't get that.
No, it doesn't. Now another question I have, now this is kind of on par with AI in a sense. What do you guys all think of Elon Musk's Optimus droids that he introduced? Have you guys seen that?
Well, you know damn good and well that there was somebody with a remote working those.
Oh, probably.
Yeah,
probably.
I mean, the interaction, the speaking, that absolutely was somebody on a mic that was like looking through a camera that was behind the face screen. It was way too smooth. It was there was too much inflection. There was too much emotion in the voice. AI voices just cannot do that.
No, it's true, and not just that, but it was way too smart. I've always been of the belief that Elon Musk is just one big bullshitter. I've never liked him. I just think he's full of shit. Everything he says, everything he does. And so, and then of course, the nerd in me is like, you son of a bitch. You're naming your droids after Optimus Prime? I want to kill you.
Yeah.
Well, why not? He already stole Tesla's name.
It's just, he already stole what?
Tesla's name.
He didn't come up with that name?
No, actually, he didn't. He did not come up with that name.
I didn't know that.
No, he bought the company. Tesla is not even his company.
Yeah, he was the chief financier behind it, and then basically bought out everybody else. Yeah, and kept it going. Most of the companies that he's supposedly created, he just bought.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
The thing with Tesla is that everyone is getting pissed off because of the fact that it's named after Tesla. And like, no, Nikola Tesla was a mad genius who saw ghosts and snorted cocaine and wanted to put electricity around the world so that we all had free Wi-Fi. You are Thomas Edison. Get it fucking right.
Well, that does kind of make sense now that I've seen what he's done with X, whatever the hell it's called now, Twitter, X, whatever, stupid freaking name. Like that's just a mess right there. And a lot of people are of the belief that the only reason he removed bans off of everybody who got banned from Twitter was because he got banned from Twitter himself, and so he's just covering his own ass. Like, and that could be very well the case, Like, I mean,
if you're gonna be a dick and buy a company just to reverse your own banning, at least own up to it.
Well, have you heard the latest?
No.
He's changing the way blocking somebody works.
Oh wait, that's right. Isn't it to where like it's public block now?
No, it's you can block them, but any public posts, the person who's blocked can read them. They just can't interact with them. So they can't reply to it. They can't share it. They can't bookmark it or anything like that. But they can see what you posted.
Yeah,
That's
which
kind of weird. That's kind of weird.
completely destroys the point of a block.
Yeah.
And there's a very believable theory going around that he did this because he wants to see what his kids are saying on Twitter, because all of his kids have him blocked.
Why does that not surprise me? Oh, okay.
If you're gonna be that petty, if you're gonna buy a company just to reverse the fact that you got blocked, own up to it. I would have more respect for you if you're just like, yeah, they blocked me off their website, so I bought out their company just to slap my dick across their face. I'd be like, all right, good on you. Fair play.
He's a very strange man. I mean, I remember back when Cyberpunk 2077 first came out and he was like promoting it into the ground on his Twitter, because we still had Twitter then. He was saying how a lot of the car designs in that game he wants to take and make into Tesla cars, and I'm just like, oh, will you just put down the controller and walk away?
Yeah, yeah, and then he makes the fucking Cybertruck that's like, okay, somebody sat him down, showed him Blender, and was like, here you go, and basically he took like the most basic tools and was like, I made this.
It's like a deranged child.
I've seen a lot of Cybertrucks around me now, and I'm like, you know what? That's it. People in this area have too much fucking money.
There are 2 here in Champaign. Couldn't tell you why. 20 years ago, I found 2 DeLoreans in this town. I can't see them anymore, but somehow I'm finding 2 Cybertrucks.
It's the same assholes.
At least they had taste.
They upgraded.
DeLoreans actually.
I've only seen. Sorry. Go.
No, my rant's done. Go for it.
Yeah. I've only seen one in the wild.
You know,
I
the
laughed
horrible
out.
part is that the Cybertruck might actually make a decent substitute for the DeLorean if you were to make an updated Back to the Future. But it's such a laughingstock now. Why?
So I don't know the backstory behind the Cybertrucks. What are they? Are they just? Is it just the design, or do they have some kind of technical?
No, it's just the design. He said he wanted to make a truck, but he wanted to make a truck for the future that didn't look like any other truck out on the market. He wanted it to look futuristic and evoke things like, I think he said he wanted it to evoke RoboCop and all this other shit. Like, he was making pop culture references. And then he reveals it and everyone's like, what the fuck is that?
Then, let's not forget, you tried to demonstrate you couldn't damage it and immediately damaged it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah,
His big demonstration was like, you can't break these windows. They're completely invulnerable. They're bulletproof. Nothing can break them. He grabbed a brick, turned around, barely threw it. It was like the weakest throw.
it was like
And it shattered.
Yeah, it was a metal ball.
Yeah.
It was a metal ball, and it's just like embedded in the fucking window, just like fully. It's like, and he's just kind of standing there, just like,
Like,
So,
people were.
Hold on, this was live. This was
Yes,
a video.
live.
Yeah.
He was
Middle
trying
of
to
the
be like
conference.
Steve Jobs.
Too many witnesses to buy off.
Yeah.
Not happening.
And that was the thing that happened, and people were like, you know, we made fun of Steve Jobs for a lot of his like iPhone presentations and overblowing shit, but at least when Steve Jobs fucked up, he made it entertaining and made it look like it was part of the show. Elon can't do that.
What? And then let's not forget, how many of these trucks will basically brick if you take them into a car wash?
oh
All of
yeah,
them.
yeah. You have
All of
to
them.
you have to set it to you have to have a specific setting, telling it that you're
The
going
little-
into a car wash, and then it's supposed to, it's basically supposed to cut power to everything so that no power's flowing through it. But which brings up the question of, okay, what do you do when you're out on a rainy day? Like, it's the same, you know,
The most stupidest thing I've ever heard. Okay, so
Oh no, it gets better. It
Wait,
gets
wait,
better.
No, it gets worse. It gets worse. Do you know the speeds of a Tesla?
I don't.
The Tesla comes with 3 speeds, which don't actually do anything. They just make you feel better. But they are named after the speeds in Spaceballs. So you have normal speed, hyperspeed, light speed, and ludicrous speed.
So
Okay.
that would at least be worth something if when you went into ludicrous speed, the truck turned plaid.
That's what happened.
I knew you were going to say.
No,
I knew you were going to
stop,
say
stop.
that.
That's what he did.
Jesus.
When you click ludicrous speed, the button and the display turns plaid.
No,
And it-
Christ.
It
Okay.
plays a sound effect in the cabin of an engine winding up as if it's going really, really fast.
Now, see,
They have this for real.
Is Mel Brooks suing?
No,
That was my question too.
now up to now, we've just talked about the stupid shit that he's done. There's
I mean, is there anything else?
oh yes, oh
yes,
yes.
there's the
He-
illegal
oh, no,
shit that
no.
he's done.
So he wanted to prove that the Cybertruck body, not necessarily the windows, but the body was bulletproof. So he had somebody shoot it a few times with a gun. People who have gotten the Cybertruck have tried to recreate this with their handguns and have put holes in the body. So he purposefully downgraded the rounds that they were shooting at the Cybertruck so that it wouldn't. He learned his lesson from the steel ball, basically. But the other problem is the really major problem is that the frame has no crumple zones. So if you get into a wreck that's sending a massive amount of force through the body of the car, the hood doesn't crumple and absorb that force. It goes straight through the passenger compartment. So you're pretty much going to be liquefied.
You know, the whole reason that we stopped making cars from steel.
Yeah, like I said, it's we've been talking about just the funny stuff up to now. It's like, oh no, this thing is literally dangerous. Like some of the insurance companies are like, no, we are not going to cover that car. It is.
I love how it's like inspiration for it is like 80s sci-fi movies. Could you imagine like an 80s sci-fi movie where they like, oh yeah, here's your car. By the way, don't take it through a car wash. Don't have rain fall on it. Like, come on.
You know,
that would be RoboCop with the 2000 SUX.
That's what I was just thinking. It's like, you know, he did say that he was kind of taking inspiration from RoboCop. He just took it a little too fucking far.
At least
I was going to be really mean
or
and just be like,
Magnavolt.
yeah, I was going to be really mean and say for the Fallout fans, the Corvega would be more fucking safe than this thing.
Crazy.
What are you driving around on? I'm driving around on a nuclear power plant that could explode at any minute. What are you driving around on? A Tesla. What are you, crazy?
That is... I would feel safer riding a bike in my local campus town, and as Ollamh can tell you, that is saying something.
Yeah. That's just taking life. That's taking your life in your own hands there.
We really do get to like the most weird topics.
I'm just still terrified by the number of fanboys of Musk. Like, don't get me wrong, any number of idiots these days has a cult following, but
Especially if you happen to be a streamer.
I don't know. I kind of see right through his bullshit.
you do. I do. A lot of people do. Everyone here does.
Yeah.
I mean,
They are-
it's the same thing as with every celebrity.
To me, he's just somebody who talks out his ass.
There's going to be a huge amount of the population that's used to their bullshit and gives no fucks about anything that comes out of their mouth. But there's going to be a small but very vocal and ultimately much more powerful part of the population that hangs off their every word. Like, look at the, I don't know, political elections.
I've already dealt with one person tonight that when Musk came up as a joke in our game,
Immediately went on the rampage.
started trying to go on the defense, and we kept saying, no. Don't know where you're getting all this, but no. Not unless your only news feed is Musk's own Twitter feed. Twitter, the only thing I will dead name.
Hey, if you type in twitter.com, it still takes you to the same website. So as far as I'm concerned, it's still
Hey.
Twitter.
Oh, hello, doggo.
Okay, what's going on here? Don't lick.
Hey,
We've already been licked. We are now being gnawed.
Look, puppies make everything better.
okay, hey,
Scientific fact.
knock it off.
You had to aggravate the puppy there, Caden.
They crawled up on me.
I did
No,
not
I mean
aggravate
Caden.
anything. I did not aggravate anything. Puppies like me.
You started talking about, oh no, we're fully getting mauled here, and that's when he barked.
He was agreeing with me.
When I am on WoW and my cursor is like huge because I can't see it, he comes up and he wants to lick the screen and he bites the screen. So he sees the cursor and he's like, I'm going to lick the screen and get
Oh,
into
what
a
it
fight with his
tasted.
younger brother. He tries. Then I have to clean my screen. So yeah, sorry to interrupt. My dog was being a jerk.
I thankfully don't have that problem with my dog. She'll watch if I'm playing a game, but she doesn't. Then again, my screen's out of reach. She can't really get at it. I'm sure she. Huh?
Go on.
No, go ahead. It's fine.
I was just going to say, if you were to all start chanting her name, my dog would start staring at the screen and cocking her head at all the cute angles.
Yeah, but to be fair, would we be able to tell if we're calling your dog or Ollamh?
She can tell.
But can we?
I tried it. She doesn't listen to me.
Well, to be fair, that was over an odd sound thing. Now we're doing it the same way my D&D group gets her attention, so go ahead and try.
Actually, Ollamh, I never asked you this. Do you actually have any pets?
Not at the moment, no.
Oh, okay.
We don't count?
He said pets, not annoyances.
What are pets but fuzzy annoyances that you love?
That's funny. Oh my god.
See, you're making an assumption now there, Caden.
I did not assume anything.
Yes, you did.
No, I
You
didn't. I
said
never
what are
said you
what are
loved us.
pets but fuzzy,
I
but
didn't
fuzzy
say you loved
annoyances
us.
that you love.
There are many forms of love.
Guess so. If I have to love my dogs, then actually they're my heart. They're my soul.
It's been
I was gonna
joked
say, I
that
have-
violence is my love language.
Is that your love
What?
language?
The best thing about dogs is that they don't lie to you or
False.
betray you.
Dogs lie all the fucking time.
I'm going to have to agree with Caden here.
What?
I absolutely went out and did my business. No, I was watching you the whole time. You did not.
I totally didn't just destroy your room and eat everything in sight and chew all the furniture. It wasn't me.
See, I've never had that
Be on the
problem with my
furniture.
dog. Yeah, I've never had that problem with my dog. And it's
Also-
weird because so my dog was just kind of like thrown at me basically. So an ex of mine found out that I like dogs, and the next thing I know, I had this little puppy in my hands, and they're like, "Oh, congratulations! This is now your dog." And I'm like, "What? What? I didn't agree to this." And then, so I've had her ever since. I got her when she was 6 weeks old. She's now 9, I think. She's a Shepherd Husky mix, and I never trained her at all, and she just kind of like trained herself on kind of everything.
That would be the shepherd.
Yeah, so she doesn't interfere with any of my things. She doesn't chew on anything or anything like that. She has her own toys that she plays with. She kind of just does her own thing. She'll let me know when she wants to go out for a walk or whatever, and yeah, she's pretty independent. And I've never had any issues with her ever. She's really chill.
My dog is a rescue, and my ex promised to train and raise her, and my ex was not good at this. So I have this eternal little toddler in puppy form, half greyhound, half dachshund. Well, she is getting better, but
So you've been basically training her?
yeah, for a while now. Reverse training her because she was trained. Yeah. How to put this? We're on a public forum.
Just say it.
My ex trained her to go indoors,
Mm.
which she is being much better about, but still. The fact that I have to counter train that, it drove me mad.
How do you train? Who trains a dog to go? Okay,
Someone.
lazy.
We would get into a rant I would never get out of.
Fair enough.
Okay, kind of back to the paranormal.
Sure.
Do you think that animals can see ghosts?
Yes.
Oh, they absolutely can. Cats are half in hell at all times.
Those cats are like that.
What better animal to see a demon than a demon itself? A cat.
Well, no, that is actually an old superstition. Is that cats are half in, half out of the afterlife at all times, and then they're like, "But why would they be so evil?" I was like, "Well, first of all, if you're seeing ghosts 24/7,
Yeah.
but then underworld and afterlife got associated with hell, so everyone's like, "Oh no, cats are actually just Satan's minions." Like, what about dogs then? Dogs are the same fucking thing. Like, no, dogs go to heaven. Fuck you, you racist.
I am convinced that my dead cat, watches over my dog specifically. Isn't that right up?
Have you felt its presence or something?
Kind of.
Hey, so what happens to furries when we die?
We go to hell. It's not obvious.
Well, I mean, yeah, that part. I'm saying, like, theoretically, if we were getting judged by the fact that we are other, and we have the human soul and the fur soul, like, what the fuck? Do we just show up in the afterlife like, okay, what species were you? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
whoever's judging you goes to hell.
You have a fucking pile of sparkle dogs in the corner, like, we don't know what the fuck those are, we don't know what to do with them.
Also, go ahead, try calling her.
Olive. A little
Ears
bit of ear.
moved.
Olive.
Head.
There's the head tilt.
Like what?
Voice is in box.
Right now she's thinking that you are the weird one because you are telling her to look at the voices in the box.
She should totally look at the voices in the box.
What about TV? Does she watch TV?
I did try doggy TV. Sometimes she's into it, sometimes she's not.
Yeah, for me, Lily, there's only 2 shows she actually will sit through and watch the entirety of. Seinfeld, don't know why. I've never figured it out.
It
But
does
she-
sound like...
It's more so Kramer. She has some infatuation with the idiot, apparently.
Who doesn't like the random insane man down the hall that just bursts into your door?
And the other-
I can't imagine why it would like the idiot.
Thanks a lot, Ollamh. Jesus Christ.
Look at it this way. How long have you been gone from both channels? We have a lot of catching up to do.
You can't
Um,
softball it in like that.
And next week is the last Friday of the month.
This is true.
I'm always here for game nights.
Yes, I know, but our game is Kick the Canadian, so it's gonna get worse. I love the fact that none of the 3 of us even started that. That was just like the sin joke, and then we just ran with it.
But anyway, going back to what I was saying. So the other show that she really likes, which I don't, but I put on for her, and she seems to really enjoy it, is that show, The Dog Whisperer.
Caesar Milan.
It's Caesar
I guess
Milan.
that proves that Caesar really can whisper.
Well, no, she doesn't like it because of him. I think she just likes all the dogs that are on it more than anything. I don't think she gives 2 shits about him. Just like I don't give 2 shits about him.
Right?
He's a bit weird for me. I don't know.
I mean, it's no worse than Jackson Galaxy.
With the cats.
Yeah,
He had the cat. He was the cat whisperer.
he's an idiot.
He's weird because like I remember he people would have him come on and go to their house and everything and say, my dog is barking at my neighbor, and then he'd like grab the dog by its throat or something and be like, oh, don't worry, I'm just telling her to behave and listen to me. And I'm like, what, by molesting her? Like, what are you doing? He's so weird. I'm like,
Sometimes, if
that's
you
not
just
how you
keep
train a
barking-
dog. You're not strangling them. Like,
It's the same principle as a child. If they keep barking and they keep screaming, you just need to choke them out.
it's so weird. It's just like, man, I don't understand how his show is not just animal cruelty. It's what it feels like to me whenever I watch it. I'm not
I've
about
seen
to
him
lay
do
my
some.
hand. Go ahead.
It's just questionable stuff. I've seen him do highly questionable stuff.
Oh yeah, totally. There is no way in hell I would ever lay my hands on my dog. Like that's abuse. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
My dog only
And-
listened to me because he stole my cookie when I was 2 years old, and I chased him down the hallway, tackled him, and bit him.
Yeah, and he's doing that to random strangers' dogs. He's like, they're having him in the house, and they're too stupid to realize that what he's doing is kind of abusing the animal. I don't know. He's weird. But I remember back when I first got Lily, I bought like the first season of his show on DVD, and that's what I put on for her now. But I originally the plan was I bought it so that I could learn about dog training. And then I started watching and I'm like, this is not dog training. This is the opposite of dog training. It's like strangling your dog. I don't know. It's just so odd. But apparently a lot of people swear by him. But
A lot of people swear by Dr. Pole.
Who's Dr. Pole?
He's a veterinarian who's supposed to be like the Caesar Milan, except with every animal.
Oh, God.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I have a llama. Nobody has a llama, and he's got an intestinal blockage. What do I do? And then Pole walks up. He's like, you have a fucking llama? All right, I can get rid of that.
But it's so crazy. He's like, oh, there's always a way to stop a dog from barking. And so, like, this one that he was like strangling or whatever, it was a Chihuahua. And I'm thinking to myself, they're just loud in general. Like, I mean, it's not like they're like angry at anything specific. They just like to bark a lot. And Caesar Milan's like, he does not respect you. And I'm like, oh, come on.
This one is the most chill Chihuahua. He doesn't bark. He doesn't shiver. He doesn't nip at your heels. He's the most chill Chihuahua. I drew the lottery, I guess.
Okay, we've been going for about 2.5 hours now. Almost 2 hours and 40 minutes. And I am starting to crash.
I was about to say, basically, Ollamh wants to go to bed, and he's kicking us all out now.
I mean, technically, I'm supposed to be making an hour-long drive at like 11 this morning, and it's already almost 1, so yeah, I should probably get some sleep.
Yeah. Almost 1. Holy shit. Time flies when you're talking about ghosts.
Time flies when you're making fun of Canadians.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
I told you, you have months worth of shit to catch up on.
Nah, I don't think we could, unless we do a special episode that is just roasting gamers, I don't think we could get through that much.
That's every episode.
I would prefer if that doesn't happen.
That's every episode, and then we double down on game night.
So are we doing Jackbox again? Is it next week?
Yeah, it's next week.
See, I told you, Caden, they just don't like you.
Oh no, Chihuahuas don't like anybody.
Well, except their owners.
No, Chihuahuas hate their owners too. Chihuahuas are the embodiment of pure rage.
I am honestly surprised by the fact that Lily is half husky and half shepherd, and she barely barks or talks or anything. She's so antisocial for being the breed she is. You figure that she'd be yappy and everything. The only time she ever yaps is in her sleep.
It's the shepherd canceling out the husky.
Yeah, I guess.
She wants to howl, but she's like, I'm too dignified for that.
Olive is half dachshund, half greyhound, with mostly the attitude of the dachshund and the speed of the greyhound.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think Ollamh was trying to gently tell us, get the hell out of my stream. I need to sleep, and we're just continuing. We're like, what about my dog?
Hey, you guys want to keep on talking? You can keep on talking, but I'm gonna end the live stream.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
If he really wanted us out, he could just hang up on all of us.
That's funny. Not even an outro. It's just like, bye-bye.
I would at least
everybody.
I would at least download and play like the old like Prodigy or AOL. Goodbye.
You know what you should do? There is an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where Larry David's like, you know what? If you don't want to talk to anybody, all you got to do is just play the Oscar music that they play at the Oscars, and you just play it on your phone, and then they're like, oh, okay, well, I gotta go now, and then they just leave him alone. And so anytime anybody annoys him on his show, Curb Your Enthusiasm, he just pulls out his phone and plays the music that they play when they're rushing somebody at the Oscars to finish their speech.
Did you know that has lyrics?
No, I didn't.
But... No, it doesn't, but you need to go look up that skit. It's Colin Farrell, or Will Ferrell and Jack Black.
Oh, God.
Okay, so you guys want to say good nights?
Good night, everybody. Yeah. Have fun.
I'm going to say good night.
Bye.
Again, thank you for having me. Oh, well, that was fast.
Yeah, he just takes off.
Okay. Well, yeah, good night, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
And, yeah, I appreciate you guys including me. So thank you very much. And I am going to log off. So good night, you guys.
Good night. You want to go, or am I going?
You go ahead first.
Well, have a good night. It was awesome to be a part of this. Like I said, I really believe in ghosts and everything, so it was a really cool stream. I really enjoyed it. Over the next couple of days, over on my channel, I'm going to be live streaming a couple of games. So if any of you guys are interested, hop on over to the Gamers Grotto and check it out. Now over to our resident DJ.
Tomorrow night, Over the Edge on Community Radio for East Central Illinois, 90.1 FM, WEFT Champaign. Streaming online at new.weft.org/listen.
And of course, that is in the in the description down below. So, all right. As always, guys, thanks for being here, and I'll go ahead and do my outro.
All right. Have a good night.
Yep. As always, thank you guys very much for watching. If you like the video, if you like the live stream of the video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're new here, don't forget to consider prodding that subscribe button. If you want to be kept up to date of when we go live and stuff like that, make sure to ring the bell. But also check out the social media links down below, the Facebook page, the Twitter account, the Tumblr account, and the permanent invite for our Discord server. All that so that you can stay tuned for more from Ollamh Productions. Cheerio!